All right, so we read Baba Yaga. We read Hansel and Gretel. So now we're going to talk about who was the worst person in our stories. Okay, we're going to talk about who is the worst. Now, this is somebody's opinion because yesterday when we talked about Baba Yaga, we had talked about how different people had different opinions. Some people thought the step-grandmother was the worst. Some people thought the stepmother was the worst. And some people thought the father was the worst. So this is going to kind of do that, but tie our two stories together. Okay, so we are going to read, just a second. We are going to read and evaluate our opinions. And here's what I want you watching for today. Not who they think is the worst, but how they give details about why that person who they chose is the worst, okay? You are looking for the details about why they think that person is the worst. All right. Our first opinion one is called a witchy witch. A witchy witch. The adults in Baba Yaga and Hansel and Gretel all act badly. The fathers do not take care of their children. The stepmothers are not kind. But the witches are the most evil. So that is this person's opinion, right? That the witches are the most evil. And Baba Yaga is the worst. She is supposed to take care of them. Instead, she wants to eat them. When the twins arrive at Baba Yaga's house, they tell her they are related. But, look at this word, but the old witch does not act like a grandmother. Would you agree with that? Yep. She puts them to work. You girls, spin this thread, she says. You boy, carry water, she orders. Why doesn't she offer them food? Why doesn't she invite them to sit? Instead, she tells them that if they don't serve her well, she will eat them up. Family members are not supposed to act that way. Plus, so here's another detail why this person believes. Plus, Baba Yaga gives the children jobs she knows they cannot complete. Remember, that was what we talked about yesterday? She gave them jobs they couldn't do. The boy can never fill the tub with the leaky cup. The girl cannot spin the sharp wool. Baba Yaga wants them to fail. She just wants an excuse to eat them. The witch who tries to eat Hansel and Gretel is a stranger. You cannot always trust a stranger, which remember we've talked about that too, stranger danger. You cannot always trust a stranger to be good. Baba Yaga is a relative. You should be able to trust a relative. For this reason, Baba Yaga is the worst adult in the two stories. Okay, now we're going to look at this writing for a second because you're going to be writing like this, not about our fairy tales, but about your restaurant. And you're going to have to give details about your restaurant. So, the writer begins with a clearly stated opinion. This writer's opinion is Baba Yaga is the worst, right? Witches are evil. Baba Yaga is the worst. Clear? Did we know who she was talking about? Yep. Then, use evidence from the text to support the reasons. You're going to use your own, you've been at that restaurant and you know what you like to eat there, okay? So, the old witch does not act like a grandmother. She puts them to work. You girls, spin this. So see how she uses things from the story to tell her opinion about why her opinion's right. But you're going to do the same thing from your restaurant. You're going to use details from your restaurant about why that is the best restaurant and why you have it for your favorite. Then the writer uses more evidence, linking words to help support. We're going to want a lot of the word. Ready? It isn't in this one, but this is one we're going to use a lot. What is this word? Because. The writer then provides a concluding statement. So she basically is saying the same thing she said at first, she's saying again at the end. So she's saying, the witch tries to eat Hansel and Gretel as a stranger. Okay, you can't trust them. But here's where she says, Baba Yaga is a relative. You should be able to trust a relative. For this reason, Baba Yaga is the worst adult in the two stories. So I want you to look at it. Baba Yaga is the worst. And then, for this reason, Baba Yaga is the worst adult in the two stories. Beginning, end. Details in the middle, okay? Then I'm going to show you. But this person has a different opinion. This is opinion number 2. Stepmother gone bad. Guess who this one's going to be about? The stepmother. The stepmother in Hansel and Gretel is the most harmful adult. Oh, do we know already who they're talking about? Yes. Good job introducing. She sends the children into the woods. She knows they will starve or be eaten by wild animals, but she doesn't care. She wants them to die. She only thinks of herself. The stepmother tells the father to leave the children in the woods. We will no longer be troubled by them, she says. These words say a lot about her. Good parents do not feel troubled by their children. Good parents want to take care of their children. Her words prove she doesn't care about them. Is this a good detail from the story to prove her point? Yeah, this is a great detail about how she talks, how the stepmother talks in the story. Because of the stepmother, Hansel and Gretel are alone in the woods. They have no food, they have no shelter. As a result, they end up at the witch's house. They almost die. Children need supervision. They need food, shelter, and love. Again, reasons from the story, details? Yep. Okay? This stepmother would go to jail if she were a real person. The stepmother in Hansel and Gretel is the worst adult in these stories. Do we have our good concluding sentence again at the end? Okay? A mother should put her children's safety first. Instead, the parent puts herself first. She gets rid of the children to make her own life better. She lets the children face terrible events. I love this. Look at this. Shame on her. Oh, what a great way to end it, right? Shame on her. Do we really know how this person felt when they wrote this? When they say stuff like that? Shame on her. Okay. Last opinion. This is just like us yesterday. We had 3 opinions. Here's our last one. Ready? Weak father. The father of Hansel and Gretel gets the award for most harmful adult. Look at that. Did you hear that? The father in Hansel and Gretel gets the award for most harmful adult. What a fabulous way to say that, right? Gets the award for being so horrible. Do we know who this person is talking about? Yup, introduces it right away with the introduction sentence. He could have saved his children from terrible events. Instead, he goes along with his wife's bad idea. He follows her orders. He takes his own children into the woods where they might die. He is a coward. He does not deserve to be called father. Good details to support that opinion, right? So we got lots of details here. And now we're going to go into specifics. In the beginning of the story, the father says, "No, wife, I will not do that." The reader thinks he is going to stand up to her. But then she says, "You fool," and he gives in right away. Oh, in fact, he himself takes the children into the woods. This proves that he is weak. It shows that he doesn't have the courage to do what he knows is right. Good details specifically from the story? You bet. Here we go. To make matters worse, he does not even look for his children. Did you find that interesting, that he wasn't even looking for his kids? His kids had to go back at the end and find him, right? He is too afraid to look for them because his wife will get mad. If so, then why doesn't he look for them after she dies? Is it because he just doesn't care about them? In conclusion, oh, I love that. That's a good one, isn't it? In conclusion, The father in Hansel and Gretel is the worst of all. See how they said it? Basically the same thing, right? Just in a little different way. He is weak. He is a coward. He knows what he should do, but he doesn't do it. He lets bad things happen when he could be stopping them. Okay, so when we go to write about our restaurants, we are going to want to have an introduction telling about what your restaurant is, naming your restaurant, and then you're going to give details about why this restaurant is so good. So be thinking about, what do you like about this restaurant? Why is this your favorite? Then at the end, and we're going to work on this next week, at the end, figure out why, and you're going to just say it again, okay? Favorite restaurant, details why, and then say again why it's your favorite. Does that make sense? Excellent.